Welcome to Melanated and Spiritually Woke. I'm your host, Adorable Earth Angel. I'm a holistic wellness educator of 12 years with a master's in public health, energy healing of 7 years, and have been a Black female spiritual alchemist my whole life. Each week, we'll be sharing uplifting, spiritually focused wellness practices to best support you in regaining your personal power, or we'll have special guest interviews with the same intention. This show is in service to all those listening, and especially for folks of color who are seeking information to support their physical, mental, and emotional spiritual awakening. These practices will help you live your best life. Hello, and welcome back to Melanated and Spiritually Woke. I'm your host today, Adorable Earth Angel, and I am so blessed that you're taking the time and energy to listen in. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your energy and your seeking, because it's in your seeking that this show is being birthed. It's being birthed on the questions and the seeking that we're all continuously moving towards, and I feel that and sense that. This is the first time that we've switched to a new format in the show, and we're going to see how this goes. We're going to be having Saturday night, the Saturday night show that this is right now that you're listening to, be something that is more of a deeper dive, something that's more specific, while we'll have the Wednesday show be more of like a general energies of the week and very generalized. Not like generalized, like simple and watered down, but just more so like kind of the general flow, and get more specific with the healing topic on Saturday night. And so thank you for grooving with me. Thank you for choosing to spend, this is recorded for Saturday night. I understand you may be listening to this at any time, anywhere, any part of the day, but thank you for joining us. So, today's topic is going to be about blocks. It's going to be about energy blocks. What is an energy block? How do I know if I have an energy block? And what can I do about it? That in its basic form is kind of what, is something to consider around, like, for instance, when you are in a space or state of mind where you were trying to move your life in a certain direction, you have a prayer, you have an intention, you have an idea that you want to attain something. And, if you come from a background, or come from a people or a background where things have constantly been taken away, then the idea of you being able to expand into a brand new lifestyle, into a new income bracket, or maybe it's having a loving, long-term relationship with someone. It could be a number of things. Anything that wants to be manifested in this now time-space reality. Anything that's within your mind's eye that you want to have. That in itself is like the step, right? That is the step where we have this conscious moment where we're like, this is my goal, this is my plan, this is what I'm moving forward in. Now, if you've ever gotten to that place, right, where you've made your plan, you've made your goal, you see this shiny new thing that you want, but then you feel a resistant energy, meaning that if someone were to say, okay, go make that happen, there'd be a resistance. Or if you have a business plan, but after your 9 to 5, there's not a feeling that you can actually go ahead and do that other thing. A lot of people would be put in a place where they'd be like, oh my gosh, like I'm lazy, or I can't do it. I'll never be able to do it. But what I understand as an energy healer is that actually what that is an energy block. An energy block is something where you have a strong desire in alignment within your mental faculties, but the other aspects of your energetics are not in alignment. And what happens so often with these, my words today are a little kind of tripping over themselves. I'm just so excited about this idea of removing energy blocks. There's a degree to it, so you have, like, there could be an energy block around wanting to be an entrepreneur and have your own business and quit your 9-to-5 job and or to have to become wealthy and financially free. You know, it's a very strong, important theme in these times for people, especially melanated folks, to experience freedom, to experience divine financial freedom. And so the block part, what you're like, well, what is the block? Now, the block is a combination of emotions, and as humans, we experience it as emotions. I'll put it that way. The block is an emotional block, but it's a very spiritual process, meaning that there's a spiritual reason why you have this block. It could be that you were born into a family where no one ever had any money, or no one had a sense of freedom and agency, or people were constantly struggling in various ways, and you were born into that energy. And in being in that energy, the ability for you, your soul, your spirit's like, I want to live a life of freedom. And so there's the opposite of that's being born into. And then now there's the ability to kind of move past that. And I mean, I'll use an example that's very tangible and clear to hear. I use my life a lot. When I have more guest speakers on, I'll use their lives too. But for me, I grew up in a family that was very scarce when it came to money. We were low, middle class, mostly low income. But there were moments where we would do some ghetto fabulous things, just buy some things that we didn't need to buy. We weren't investing in stock. We weren't investing in savings or bonds or CDs or any of those types of things that actually accrue wealth. Just a lot of debt, I'm sure, from my parents. And so I was born into that energy, those energetics. And so there were blocks that were passed down to me. Limiting beliefs, they're called sometimes. But there's a difference between a limiting belief that we can see and understand and an embedded energetic block. And that the embedded energetic block is something that we don't know we're carrying. It's a trauma in our psyche that we're not quite aware of. And so it wasn't until I became an adult, and not even through college, still wasn't kind of clear that I was in any real danger financially, because you're just, everyone's broke in college and you're just young, and there still wasn't I still didn't get hooked up with good financial information, good wealth management information. I just didn't have that. And also what I would say is I energetically wasn't a match to it, because energetically I came from a lineage where that just wasn't what I was able to receive. I just didn't receive that information from my parents, but also energetically, I wasn't ready. I wasn't spiritually mature and ready to understand how to manage my money. I just wasn't ready for it. And I had to do some healing work to even get ready to be ready. And so in my journey, it wasn't until getting into my late 20s, now I'm in my 30s, just kind of coming into this place of oh my God, I can now that I've done some healing work, I can finally see what's going on. I have some blocks. I have money blocks. I have blocks around self-worth. And so the past 5 years have been okay, I'm going to unpack these blocks and I'm going to heal them. Which sounds really easy, right? You just go ahead and just eliminate those invisible embedded blocks around the things that you want. And what I came to find out is that actually it is a very beautiful, intricate journey, because as I was going to heal the blocks that I thought were just stuff from childhood, 0 to 7, it ended up being that a lot of the things I was healing was for my ancestors. The ones who basically were capital, the ones who were property, and me having to heal in my energetics and my DNA, people who were someone else's property, on top of being able to just function in this lifetime and pay my bills, that was when I like came into this part of myself and I was like, wow, this is so much bigger than me. This is so much bigger than me. And maybe some of you listening can feel the truth in that. Can feel that kind of aha moment in yourself, and that if you're experiencing any challenges around wanting to move forward with your dreams, that you are the furthest reach of your ancestors' dreams. And whatever dreams they weren't able to accomplish, that's embedded within you. But it's also, you're here because you're a liberator. The fact that you're even listening to this show means that there's a part of you that wants to be a part of liberation on this planet for yourself and for all beings everywhere. And so there's just a lot of truth right here around liberating the energy of our ancestors and what they went through our own lives and through our life force. And so it just takes a certain type of strength to sign up for that. So I commend all of my listeners out there that resonate with that last statement around feeling the energetics of their ancestors and what they suffered through. And, just as you're moving forward, that's what's on the shoulders, right? That's what's in the energetics. And clearing that. So I feel like I've talked about what it is. I hope it's clear what an energy block is before I move on to other parts of it. It is trauma. It is generational. It could even be beyond, it could go across lifetimes possibly if you believe in past lives. But it's something that is embedded and visibilized. But it's visibilized when you go to try to take action towards your dreams and you feel like you're stuck and you're blocked. You feel like you can't move forward. Either like you physically just aren't doing anything, or you're putting out energy and the world is like crickets, silence, there's nothing happening. So what I've come to understand, because I, on this journey, have been very experimental, been very spiritual on my journey. I have unpacked so many spiritual traditions across different cultures. I've crossed the lines. Because for me, it's like, I want to understand all of the love-based practices that everyone's doing. And a huge part of what I even call myself a pan-spiritualist, which for me is just basically like, I like my spirituality spans across the world. It spans across the world. And I really do connect with all of the love-based ideologies, all of the healings from all these ascended masters, so many ascended masters. And so that's how I've gotten my education is through the church of life and the church of the world and the church of all of the traditions that feel really resonating with me. Like the teachings of Jesus and Buddha and Hare Krishna. There's a living saint on the earth right now named Amma, who is this hugging saint in India who hugs millions of people. I connect with everything. I connect with Orishas, Yemaja, and Oshun, and Esu, like these African deities, because I feel like there's so much information. I connect with the earth, with the trees, and everyone teaches me. They all teach me the plant medicines. They all teach me everything I need to know about how to clear these blocks. And so there's these blocks, and then like how to clear them. And for me, what's worked for me, and this may not be everyone's path, it's been going through the rites of passage with healing. It's been going through the storm, the fire, the purification and the burning. And it's been a pyramid. It's been like a pyramid tiered process, meaning that a huge part of what the first years were getting down my spiritual tools to be able to even undergo this endeavor. Because to just go for it is just, it's impossible without the proper, for me, I would say, like I couldn't imagine just trying to just clear all my blocks in one day and just being good. It's like, there's so much going on with the fact that these blocks are beyond this lifetime, that the type of preparation that's needed to heal and clear are very important. And so I want to be very specific because this is the specific show, and talk about like what is the preparation for clearing a block. The number one preparation for clearing energetic blocks is having a meditation practice. I'm going to repeat that. The number one thing for clearing your energetic blocks, your suffering, your trauma, all of that, for yourself, for your ancestors, past generations, past lifetimes, whatever you want to call it, is a meditation practice. A daily practice where you can quiet your mind and come into your energetics. And why is that so important? I'm going to spell it out for you. Because we as humans are constantly connecting with other humans. We're connecting with just these bigger consciousnesses. We are connecting with the energetics of our family, the past lives, our ancestors, our children. We are as humans, we are so interconnected. We're oneness. Meditation is the only thing on this planet that gives you the ability to integrate into your own self, into your own physical beingness. It also gives you the opportunity to clear out the psychic debris, meaning like if you're with all these people and they have all their thoughts and their opinions and their emotions, and it's kind of like that energy is on you. It's all over you. So it's kind of like you need to have a shower, energetic shower, to clear off all of that energy, right? Because you take a shower, you clear your physical body, but how often do you actually clear your spiritual body so that you feel connected to God? You feel connected to that life force, so that when you meditate, it creates a tunnel all the way up to God, where you're just tapping in, you're getting out all of the noise and clutter, all the people, all of the ads on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube that want your attention. You're clearing all that clutter, all the programming, and you're just plugging in, and you can feel yourself. You can finally feel who you are. You feel grounded. You know who you are. You feel integrated. And the only thing on this planet that does that is a meditation practice. There's nothing else on this planet that will have you heal and help ground you in a long-term healing process of eliminating your blocks than a meditation practice. I haven't found anything to date that does that. Nothing. And so a huge part of my journey has been centered in creating opportunities for me to go into meditation. I've gone to a 10-day meditation retreat twice in a style of meditation called Vipassana. It is a silent retreat. You do not talk. You go there and you are quiet, and they feed you and you meditate. And you end up meditating for like almost, I think, 10 hours a day. And so by the time you leave, you've done about 100 hours of meditation. And it was the most transformational thing I've ever done in my life. And I did that 2 years ago. And they say you're supposed to keep up a meditation practice. And before I went to that 10-day, I want to let you know, I had been meditating for 5 years before that. So I had been already meditating for many years. I felt confident in my ability to do it. It's a Goenka is the name of the teacher, Goenka, and it's a Goenka style Vipassana. And the centers are located all over America. I live in the Bay, and there's one that's like 2 hours away from here. And so there's that as a resource. It's like if you're trying to go in, Vipassana for me has been the best style. There's many styles of meditation. I started off with doing 5 minutes 5 years ago. Like I started off, I did 5 minutes. I do 5 minutes of meditation. I'd build up past 5 minutes. I'd go and do 10 minutes every day. I built past 10 minutes, and then I could do 15. And now, pretty frequently, pretty consistently, I do an hour every day. I do an hour of Vipassana style meditation every day. And if it's me coming back from a retreat, I could do 2 hours, one in the morning and one at night. But after a while, I kind of revert back to just that hour. And it's just changed my life, because there's this knowing of who I am and where I begin and where other people end, and the boundaries. So just having those boundaries in place are so important for releasing energetic blocks. That's the first step. That is the most crucial step. And a lot of like business people, millionaires, billionaires, they all meditate. All of them. All the people who have money do this thing. They meditate. They carve out time to clear their mind so that they can connect with that source within, above, and really drop into their energetics. And once that is established, it doesn't have to be that and I hope you're not tuning out of this show because you're like, well, I don't meditate. She's talking about she does an hour. What the heck? Like 10-day. I'm like, I'm just giving you the full extent of my identity and because I want you to know who I am and why I feel qualified to talk about this. Because I've done everything I'm talking about and I've seen the results of what I'm talking about. And so I don't want you to feel intimidated having heard that. You don't have to meditate for an hour every day. That's where I am. That took 7 years of my life of getting right with God to be able to do that. And so for each individual, they're going to be where they're going to be. And there's a lot of different resources to get you meditating. There's so many guided meditations on YouTube that are phenomenal. You could go to meditation groups instead. But a huge part of what's going to get you to the next level is meditation. And there's nothing, yoga is great. All these things are great. But even within yoga is actually preparing you to meditate. That's what yoga is. Like in India, in these different ashrams and in these different settings, you would do, I have a yoga teacher certification under my belt. And what we learned in our yoga teacher certification was around yoga is that yoga is the thing that you do with your body to prepare your spirit, to prepare your body to receive spirit. So it's like it helps to get all that energy out of you, all the monkey mind, and move the energy. And then you could just be Om. You could just be peaceful to receive the transmission from your quiet stillness. And so meditation is something that you could do. And if there could just be a 10-minute practice, that would be great. Once meditation is happening, what's going to happen is your frequency is going to rise. It's not something that you really have to do. You have to go, okay, now I meditated, so now my frequency rises. It's like, no, you don't have to do anything. You could set some prayers. Maybe that's another show I talk about how to really get the process moving. But the next thing is that your vibration is going to rise. And you're going to know your vibration rises for a number of reasons. And maybe you've already felt this, right? You felt yourself. Maybe you've been doing a walking meditation. You go for a walk, you're walking your dog, or you're outside, or you're in nature, and you just feel peaceful. And that's a form of meditation too, where you're just quiet, you're quieting your mind, you're looking at nature, you're breathing, and all of a sudden you feel good. And there we go. That is the definition of you raising your vibration. Now, if you raise your vibration consistently over the course of a period of time, the result might be something that's interesting. And the result might be that within that, any energetics that are deeply lodged within you will start to surface. Now, this is the point, and this is the place where I talk about the importance of meditation and why it works with this. Because as you raise your vibration and as those intense energies come up, you having that meditation practice is going to give you a sense of sanity. It's going to give you a sense of that things are going to be okay. Because the intensity of the energies of ancestral wounds can be hard to want to do that work, to want to heal that energy because it's painful. And some of you know what I'm talking about, right? You've done that work. And somehow come into a place where you raised your frequency enough so that the dark, shadowy energy could come up for you to then process. And it looks like a couple of different things. For me, a huge part of my process when I know that I'm pulling up the energy blocks is I know I'm going to start crying. And not only crying, I might yell, I might scream. I just feel the grief of my ancestors. I feel the grief and the struggle. and it feels like I'm going to go insane. This has been my lived experience, that I feel like I'm being split. Like the energy can feel so intense and so horrible. But the thing that actually holds the container for me and keeps me safe, one of them is the fact that I meditated. So there's a layer of me being able to be grounded in the experience, to know that this is an experience that's happening through my vessel, but this is not who I am, and not to associate myself with the experience that's happening to me. That's another thing that meditation teaches you, is to be the observer, is to observe the experience, to recognize that you are not the experience. You were a vessel for an experience to happen. And you can let the experience pass through you, and to the best of your ability, you will come back to a state of being equanimous, being in a state of just being balanced and peaceful, but that energy is kind of pulsing through you. And for me, that is how you know you're clearing a block, is if you're going through a period of grief, you're releasing, you're crying, you want to make sure that you blow your nose, because the energetics are in that mucus. I know it sounds gross, but this is how you clear a block. You blow your nose, you go through the process, and you say what's going on. And this is when I introduce and share like a process that I use called self-mothering. So for me, when I'm clearing an energetic block, I'm crying. I'm saying things that I'm like for instance, like I recently was doing some work with a client, and like we were clearing a block around money, and it was like stuff that came up was like really serious stuff, like stuff that was really deep and really down and in there. And it was like, I hate rich people, right? I was like, yeah. And I told them, I was like, I invite you to say that you love the part of you that hates rich people. Because the one thing that happens is when we start saying these things, we're like, I can't believe I said that, I'm horrible. It's like, no, that's not helpful. It's not helpful to not love the part of you that said that, because there's a part of you that really believes that. And that's the energy block. And the only way we can clear the block is with love. We can't clear the block with guilt or shame. That just further exacerbates the block. And so how do you clear the energetic block? Is by giving it the love that it never had. You give that energy some love, and it dissolves the block. So now, okay, so I'm walking through the whole process. There's been some meditation for a consistent amount of time. Maybe you're listening to positive teachers. Maybe you're listening to really just inspirational, uplifting gospel music. Maybe you're like just being, you're being in a good spiritual state of being, and you're going towards something, right? Maybe it's creating more abundance, and you see in your lived experience that you're not getting anywhere. You start to get frustrated, and then you start to cry, or you feel that anger, and you express it, and you let it come out of you. You don't hold it in, because if you hold it in, you're not going to release the block. So you let that energy flow out of your body, and as it's flowing out of your body, you say, I love the part of me that's angry. So you give yourself love. You hold the container of love for yourself as you're letting yourself express that energy, and you're just letting yourself say all the things that need to be said. You love the part of you that's saying it, and the energy block clears. That is how I've experienced. That is the safest way to do it, because there's a lot of different ways people do it that, in my opinion, aren't as safe. The meditation is so important, because it's going to get your mindset to the place of you being able to let go of limiting beliefs. I would say another good teacher is one of my teachers, which is Abraham Hicks. They're on YouTube, and they channel source energy. People ask them questions about the law of attraction and about like how to manifest, and they're just straightforward, and they share what it's all about. And when I listen to them over the past 7 years now, they keep my mindset in a good place. I can recognize when I'm thinking thoughts that go against my prayer. When I'm saying, oh, I want more money, but I'm saying, oh, well, I'm an oppressed black woman, I can't have any. That's an example. I don't say that, but not anymore. But that's an example of like something that is a limiting belief. That's a block there, right? And then so what I could do is I could go in and I could put my hand on my one hand on my heart and on my belly. And I could say, I love the one. I love the thing inside of me. I love the person inside of me that doesn't believe as a black woman that I can have the things that I need to be happy and successful. And what I'm doing is I'm asking for light. That's another thing that I do in my process is I ask for light to come in above and below and to clear the energy. And so let's actually take a moment where we are and do some healing work. I think we've done it recently, but it feels so good to do. If you're open to it, just placing one hand on your heart and your belly. Taking some breaths in. And just noticing if there's any part of you that feels stuck right now. If there's any part of you that feels stuck in a certain area of your life. And if there's any emotion there. And if so, what is the emotion that you're feeling about the stuckness? What is the emotion that you're feeling there? And so if it's anger, if it's sadness, if it's confusion or frustration, whatever emotion came up for you around being stuck in a pattern, I invite you to say to yourself, I love the one who feels frustrated. Or if it's sad, I love the one who feels sad. Or if it's angry, I love the one who feels angry. And then I want you to say, just like how I'm saying it, I, not you, I love the one. Say to yourself, I love the one who feels fill in the blank. Then I want you to say, you have every right to feel that way. Just like that. Say that to yourself. You have every right to feel that way. Now I want you to imagine you can pull light from above you and beneath you. Sit up straight, take a breath in, and breathe it right into that space that had that feeling inside of you. And so for this process, I do this with my clients one-on-one, but I feel like it's necessary to share it with you because it's such an important process. As you sit there and kind of feel into that, you could find yourself coming up with other things, right? And what eventually happens is you can ask yourself questions that lead you back to your childhood. Because you could then say, well, why do you feel stuck? Or who made you feel stuck when you were younger? Well, I felt stuck because of this or that. And it'll lead you there to that person. And you can kind of do energy healing and clear all of the blocks, going all the way back. And then coming back into the present moment and closing the session. That's another powerful thing for me when I'm in a place of, wanting to heal, just wanting to heal using light work. Light work is the terminology for that. And so thank you for listening to this episode today, because I know a lot of you are eager about starting a brand new life. We are in Virgo season. It is the energy of harvest. It's the energy, we put out our prayers during the New Year's and, some of us made vision boards. Some of us had New Year's resolutions, and now we're in Virgo season, which is the energy of harvest. And it's like, okay, let's cash in on what we did. For some of us, we've been feeling like, well, where is my piece of the pie? Where's my stuff? Where's my things at? Where's the stuff I want to manifest? And the manifestations are caught up in the energetics of blocks. And so come on this journey with me. I'm going to continue talking about this, and I'm going to continue illuminating what we can do to clear and heal these blocks, these energetic blocks, specifically for melanated people. And I'm not guaranteeing that you can clear your blocks in one day, because it definitely didn't take one day for them to be a part of your lived experience. So this is all the time that I have today to talk about this particular subject. And I just want to, again, thank you for grooving with me. Please interact with me. I have a website called adorableenergy.com. And I want to maybe make a Facebook community or some way we can continue connecting. If you want to email me feedback or any suggestions for things you want me to talk about, I'm so open to that. I really want this to be very interactive. And so if you have ideas for things that you want to hear me talk about, please reach out to me. My email is on my website at Adorable Energy. Just go to adorableenergy.com, go under contact, and go ahead and shoot me a message. And I love reading your messages. They're beautiful, they're uplifting, and I just love to hear from you. So please do that. After this show, there's going to be some music, that I've put together for you. I hope you enjoy it. And until next time, I just invite you to be very just kind. Be kind to yourself on this process. It's a long road, but you're here for it, and we're all here for it, and we're all in this together. All the people listening to this and people listening to all sorts of spiritual things, topics, we're all here together doing this, uplifting humanity one moment at a time. And so I just invite you to be kind to yourself and be loving to yourself and recognize that you're not alone. You are not alone in this process. You're not alone. If you've been feeling blocked, if you've been feeling stuck, you've been like, what am I going to do? You want to it feels like life is hard and black and white and cold and grimy. Just know your spirit is saying elevate. It's time to elevate. And the only way you can elevate is by releasing those tears. Letting those tears come out of you, blowing your nose, clearing the energy, flush it down the toilet and say thank you. Thank you and goodbye, right? Letting it go. So I just felt the need to reiterate that and just put a capstone on this conversation that you're not alone, and that if you feel like you're suffering and you feel like life isn't moving forward and you feel stuck, that you have the ability to unstick yourself. And the huge part of what it is that your vibration is really high right now, and you have to flush your energetic toilet, so to speak. You heard it here, folks. Flush your energetic toilet. All right. I love you so much, and sending you so much love and light and pure positive energy. Namaste.